Angela Rayner has made a choice that may quickly return to haunt her and has already ignited fury with pressure building both inside and outside her party. The Deputy Prime Minister has hurried forward with a significant policy change that could have far-reaching effects on Labour and the nation as a whole. However, rather than solidifying her position, this most recent action is already being viewed as a last-ditch effort to ram through a highly contentious plan. Critics are already warning that Rayner's actions on Tuesday might backfire spectacularly with reaction, raising serious worries about who will actually be impacted and who stands to lose the most. What has Rayner done specifically, and why are so many people referring to this as a disastrous error, coming from an unexpected group that Labour cannot afford to alienate? We'll be breaking everything down, so stay tuned, but before we do, remember to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. Just a brief note to let you know that we now have new Liberty shirts available on our website. You can visit British.com or click the link in the description. Under the new Planning and Infrastructure Bill, local councils will have more authority to seize farmland through mandatory purchase orders, not at the premium rate of developed land but rather at its existing agricultural value. Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner has reignited Labour's rural land grab, pushing legislation that could force farmers to sell their land at prices significantly below its full potential value. The Planning and Infrastructure Bill will unleash seismic reforms to help builders get their shovels in the ground quicker to build more homes and the vital infrastructure we need to improve transport links and make Britain a clean energy superpower to protect bill payers, according to Rayner, who has defended the bill, saying that it will remove barriers to development and allow the government to fast-track the construction of homes, schools, hospitals, and other important infrastructure. Gavin Lane, Deputy Vice President of the Country Land and Business Association, acknowledged the need for more affordable housing but contended that targeting landowners in this way is not the right approach. We urgently need more affordable housing, but pressuring landowners to sell their property isn't the solution. Farmers and rural communities are raising alarms, seeing this as an unfair attack on landowners, particularly at a time when they are already dealing with financial strains and waiting for important inheritance tax changes that are scheduled to take effect in April 2026. We have supported many of the government's changes to planning policy, but giving councils more authority to lower the value of land is a step too far, especially in light of the inheritance tax fiasco and the difficult outlook for farmers. Tim Boner, Chief Executive of the Countryside Alliance, echoed these concerns and criticized the bill for giving councils even more power to undervalue land. He warned that this move would have serious consequences for farmers or those already facing uncertainty over inheritance tax and economic challenges. He also underlined that the goal is not to oppose development but to ensure that landowners receive just compensation. The state is paying the market price for land. We need more homes and more economic development, but not at the expense of fundamental values. This legislation marks a major shift in how land is acquired for development, and while Labour insists it's a necessary tool to meet housing demands, many believe it places an unfair burden on farmers with compulsory purchases at lower prices. Landowners who have held on to their property for generations may find themselves forced to sell at rates that fail to reflect its real potential. As the debate continues, the big question remains: should local authorities have the power to seize land at its current value, or should landowners be compensated fairly based on its future worth? One thing is certain: this battle over Britain's countryside is far from over. In other news, why are the government and civil service hiding the true scale figures of crime in the UK? Is it because the data might show that not everyone who comes here from abroad is a doctor or architect? High-functioning countries such as Denmark publish data on migrant crime rates, and there's no reason we can't in the absence of the government doing its job. At least some journalists are. In the Daily Telegraph today, it's revealed foreigners are convicted up to a quarter of sex crimes in this country, despite census data showing foreign nationals make up just over 9% of the population. In the first data analysis of its kind from the Center for Migration Control, up to 1 in 4 sexual offenses are committed by migrants to different nations. The likelihood of convictions for sexual offenses was more than 20 times higher for Afghans and Eritreans than for British citizens, and the likelihood of convictions for sex crimes was 71% higher for all foreign nationals than for British residents. Examining the data from the police national computer reveals that between 2021 and 2023, there were 16,777,216 UAL offenses committed by someone with a known nationality. The highest number of sex offense convictions were recorded by Romanians, 987, Poles, 208, Indians, 148, and Pakistanis, 144, but GB News reports that Afghans had the highest rate of convictions per 10,000 of the population, 77, 59, 22.3 times that of Britain, followed by Eritreans, 59, or 53.6 per 10,000 of their population. In England and Wales, there were 12,619 convictions for sex offences, or 2.66 convictions per 10,000 people. Is it time for Britain's borders to be closed in an emergency until this issue is resolved? At a meeting of the Parliamentary Labour Party in Parliament tonight, the Prime Minister ridiculed the Reform UK leader's conflicts with his former colleague Rupert Lowe, according to one MP who attended the meeting, and Dharma called Nigel Farage a very mischievous boy. Starmer utilised the hour-long discussion to address concerns from backbench Labour MPs regarding planning cuts and the perks, but Nigel Farage is not the Messiah, he is a very mischievous youngster. Easter is approaching, and Lent is now underway. When asked about his reception at the meeting, Starmer told reporters that everything went well as he left. This comes after Starmer was left bracing for the biggest rebellion of his premises ship over his plans to take a sledgehammer to Britain's benefits. Bill told MPs that the party needed to be ruthless, bold, and energetic in tearing down the barriers standing in the way of working people. According to one MP, Starmer also told MPs that there was a moral case to reform the broken system that left young people stuck on benefits. Rachel Moscow, a Bill Labour MP, has voiced opposition to possible welfare cuts, warning that using a sledgehammer to get advantages is not the best course of action. Liz Kendall is under additional pressure as a result of the government's apparent plans to cut back on work and pension spending, which the York Central MP candidly addressed concerns expressed by possible Labour rebels. The Treasury is anticipated to make large cuts to the welfare budget before the spring statement at the end of this month, just months after the government axed winter heating payments and refused to cover reparation payments for WASB women. In order to pay a significant rise in defence spending and compensate for narrowing fiscal headroom, cuts have been implemented. Please share your ideas about the topics we covered in today's video in the comments box below. If you haven't already, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more British stuff. Thank you, and be careful.